The shuttle descended through swirling clouds of amber and azure, buffeted by the winds of Surina. Dr. Mark Caldwell peered out at the rugged landscape, dotted with towering crystal formations that glittered against the planet's twin suns. "Looks like we're not in Kansas anymore," joked Alex Chun, the pilot, as he maneuvered the craft towards a clearing. Mark chuckled. "Indeed, we're quite a ways from home. Prepare for a whole new world of discoveries, team." The shuttle touched down with a gentle thud, and the team of 4, including Mark, Alex, biologist Dr. Liam Neeson, and geologist Sarah Kinney, quickly began unloading their equipment. As they set up camp, the serenity of the alien world around them was palpable. Liam clapped Mark on the back. "Imagine the secrets this soil holds." And Mark? "A biologist's dream." Mark nodded, his eyes scanning the horizon. "And hopefully, the start of a peaceful exploration. Let's keep our interactions with any native life respectful and cautious." As they were setting up the perimeter sensors, Alex spotted something moving at the edge of the crystal forest. "Hey guys, you might want to see this," he called out, pointing towards a shimmering figure approaching them. The team gathered, watching as the figure came closer. It was clearly sentient, humanoid but unlike any human, with iridescent skin and delicate, wing-like appendages fluttering behind it. The alien stopped a few meters away, its bright eyes wide as it observed them. Mark stepped forward slowly, holding out his hands in a universal gesture of peace. "Hello," he said, the translation device at his belt converting his words into a series of harmonic tones. The alien tilted its head, replying in a flowing, musical language that the device struggled to translate. After a moment, it managed, "I am Alera of the Salari." Liam whispered excitedly. "First contact, and she's communicating. This is incredible." Mark smiled at Alera. "I'm Mark, and these are my colleagues, Alex, Liam, and Sarah. We come in peace from Earth." Alera observed each of them curiously. "Earth? I do not know this place. Why have you come to Surina?" "We are explorers, hoping to learn about your world and exchange knowledge," Mark explained, gesturing to the equipment. "We mean no harm." Alera seemed to relax slightly. "Many come with shadows in their hearts. You carry light instead." Sarah, taking a cautious step forward, added, "We also hope to share about our world with you if you're willing." Alera's luminous eyes reflected a myriad of colors. "I am curious about your Earth and its creatures. Perhaps there is much we can learn from each other." Mark nodded. "We like that very much. Would you like to see some of our instruments? They help us understand new environments." Alera agreed, and the team spent the afternoon showing her various devices and explaining their purposes. In turn, Alera described some of the flora and fauna of Surina that could be seen from where they stood. As the twin suns began to set, casting long shadows over the land, Alex set up a small, portable stove to prepare dinner. "Alera, would you join us for a meal?" he asked. "It's nothing fancy, but it's a good way to end the day." Alera nodded. A gesture they were coming to understand meant acceptance. "I would be honored." As they gathered around the makeshift table, the team felt a mix of excitement and responsibility. This was uncharted territory, both literally and metaphorically, and the dinner felt like both a celebration of their arrival and an acknowledgement of the delicate dance of interstellar diplomacy they were about to undertake. As twilight melded into the dark velvet of night, the team sat around the softly glowing portable heater, sharing a meal of rehydrated stew and fresh, tangy fruits provided by Alera from the surrounding forest. The atmosphere was relaxed, the earlier tension replaced by a budding curiosity and camaraderie. Mark noticed Alera examining the stew with interest. "It's a basic meal, mostly for nutrition," he explained, seeing her intrigue. "What is it made of?" Alera asked, her voice melodious, the translator converting her words into smooth English. "Vegetables and proteins from earth plants and animals," replied Liam, handing her a fork. "Try some, you might find it interesting." Alera tentatively tasted the stew, her expression thoughtful. "It is very different from our foods. We consume mainly raw materials, directly from source energy." Mark was intrigued. "Source energy? Like photosynthesis?" "Yes, similar. But it's more complex. We can discuss it tomorrow if you like," Alera suggested, a hint of enthusiasm in her voice. That would be fascinating, Mark replied, genuinely interested. The conversation shifted as Alex brought out a small device that projected images of Earth, a mix of cities, oceans, and landscapes. This is where we come from, he said. Alera watched intently, her face illuminated by the pictures. Your world has much water. Ours does not. It is precious here. Sarah, who had been quiet, spoke up. Water is precious on Earth too, in different ways. It's vital for all our forms of life. I see. Alera nodded. Serena teaches us to cherish what sustains us. The group continued to share stories of their respective planets, finding common ground despite their vast differences. As the evening wore on, Mark suggested, Alera, would you like to see some of our instruments at work? We could take some soil samples together. Alera was enthusiastic. Yes, I would appreciate understanding your methods. Early the next morning, Mark and Alera ventured out to the edge of the crystal forest with a portable sampling kit. As Mark demonstrated the soil collection process, Alera was quick to grasp the techniques. This tool extracts samples without harming the surrounding area? Alera asked, her tone approving. Exactly, Mark confirmed. We try to minimize our impact on the environments we study. Alera then guided Mark deeper into the forest, where the crystals grew taller and more vibrant. Here, she said, pointing to a particularly luminescent crystal. This is a mature energy source for us. Feel its surface. Mark hesitated, then placed his hand on the crystal. It was warm, and he could almost feel a gentle hum. It's incredible, he marveled. It is alive, in a way, Alera explained. It connects with us, nourishes us. As they walked back to camp, Alera seemed contemplative. Many fear what they do not understand. You and your team, you seek to understand. Mark smiled. That's the hope. By learning about each other, maybe we can make the galaxy a little smaller, a little friendlier. Back at camp, Alex and Liam were setting up a device to monitor atmospheric conditions. Hey Mark, Alera, come give us a hand? Alex called out. Alera joined in, her dexterity surprising the team as she quickly learned to calibrate the sensitive equipment under Liam's guidance. You're a natural, Liam complimented her, impressed by her adaptability. As the day ended, the team sat together once more, reviewing the data they had collected. The atmosphere was one of mutual respect and increasing friendship. Mark proposed, let's plan a trip to one of your communities, Alera, if that's possible. We'd love to meet more of the Salari. Alera's eyes lit up. I would like that very much. I will speak to my people. You have shown us great respect. I believe they will welcome you. As they turned in for the night, the stars overhead twinkled, a silent testament to the vastness of the universe and the small but significant bridges being built on the surface of Serena. The following morning was marked by a cool breeze that swept across the camp, carrying the faint, sweet scent of Serena's distant floral blooms. Mark was up early, as was his habit, checking the equipment before anyone else stirred. Alex joined him shortly, coffee in hand. Morning, Mark. How's everything looking? Alex asked, taking a sip of his coffee. Systems are all green. Looks like it'll be a good day for a trip to the Salari community, Mark replied, scrolling through the data on his tablet. Alex nodded, looking out towards the crystal forest where they had met Alera. I'm looking forward to it. It's not every day you get to meet an alien community. Just then, Alera approached, her gait light and graceful. Good morning, Mark. Alex. I have spoken with my people. They are curious about you and have invited us to visit today. That's great news, Alera. We're all set to go, Mark responded, his enthusiasm evident. As the rest of the team gathered, Mark briefed them on the day's plans. Today we're guests of the Salari. It's a privilege, so let's be respectful and observe as much as we can. Liam and Sarah nodded in agreement, both visibly excited about the opportunity. The group set out, following Alera through the dense undergrowth that gradually gave way to open fields dotted with large, luminescent plants that swayed in the wind. So, Alera, what should we expect from this visit? Liam asked, trying to keep up with her brisk pace. Alera smiled, looking back at him. You will meet our elders and see our main village. We live in harmony with Serena. and you will see how our community thrives. The journey continued with casual conversations about Earth and Surina, each team member sharing anecdotes from home. Alera listened intently, her fascination with Earth growing. Upon reaching the village, the team was greeted by a group of Salari who, like Alera, were cautious but welcoming. The village was unlike anything the humans had ever seen, constructed with materials that seemed to be grown rather than built, seamlessly integrated into the surrounding nature. A tall, dignified Salari stepped forward. "Welcome, friends from Earth. I am Elder Reinen. We are pleased to meet you." Mark stepped forward, extending his hand in greeting. "Thank you, Elder Reinen. I'm Mark Caldwell, and this is my team. We're honored to be here." Elder Reinen nodded, accepting the gesture. "Alera tells us you come seeking knowledge and friendship. We hope to learn from you as well." The elder then invited the team to a communal area where they were offered a variety of Salari dishes. Mark, Alex, Liam, and Sarah sampled everything, discussing the flavors and textures with their hosts. After the meal, the elder led them on a tour of the village. "Our homes are alive, part of Surina herself. They grow as we need, and we shape them with care," Reinen explained. Liam, fascinated, took notes. "The symbiotic relationship you have with your environment, it's extraordinary. There's so much we could learn about sustainable living." "Yes," Reinen agreed. "It is a balance, one we have nurtured for generations. Perhaps there are practices you could adapt on Earth." As the tour continued, Mark and Alex were shown a series of intricate murals depicting the history of the Salari. "These murals tell our stories," Alera explained. "Our joys, our challenges, our evolution." Alex, deeply moved, responded, "It's beautiful. On Earth, we have similar expressions. Paintings, music, literature. It's how we record our history and convey our emotions." The day passed with more discussions and exchanges of knowledge. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows over the village, Elder Reinen gathered everyone. "We are pleased to have shared this day with you. Let this be the beginning of a long friendship between our peoples," Reinen declared. Mark nodded, feeling a profound sense of responsibility and opportunity. "We agree, Elder Reinen. Today has been enlightening, and we hope to continue learning from each other." The team thanked their hosts and began the journey back to camp, their minds full of new ideas and a deeper respect for the Salari way of life. As they walked, Mark, Alex, Liam, and Sarah discussed plans to share what they had learned with Earth, hopeful about the potential for future collaborations. The morning after their visit to the Salari community, the camp was buzzing with excitement. Mark and his team were eager to discuss their findings and the potential implications for future cooperative projects. As they gathered around the central table with steaming cups of coffee, the conversation was lively and filled with speculative ideas. "Did you see how their structures were practically part of the landscape? There's a lot we could learn about bio-integrated architecture," Liam said, reviewing his notes from the previous day. Mark nodded thoughtfully. "Absolutely. Their connection with the environment isn't just sustainable, it's symbiotic. It's something that could revolutionize how we approach urban development on Earth." Alex, tinkering with a small gadget, looked up, "And those energy crystals, they're like natural batteries. If we could understand their composition, maybe we could develop a new kind of renewable energy source." Sarah, who was cross-referencing data on her tablet, chimed in. "I'm curious about their agriculture. Did you notice how their crops are adapted to minimal water use? We could really use that knowledge given the water crises back home." Alera, who had been quietly listening, smiled. "I am glad to see such enthusiasm. I believe there is much we can share with you. Perhaps today we could explore the crystal forest? I can show you more about the energy crystals." Mark's eyes lit up. "That would be fantastic, Alera. Lead the way." The team quickly prepared for the day's excursion, packing their equipment and donning protective gear. As they walked towards the crystal forest, Alera pointed out various plants and their uses in Salari culture. "Each plant has a role, much like each person in our community. This one," she paused, touching a leaf that shimmered under her fingers, "is used for healing. It has properties that speed up cellular regeneration." Liam, ever the biologist, was fascinated. "Could we take a sample? I'd love to analyze its active compounds." Alera nodded. "Of course, but we must ask the plant's permission first. Ask its permission? Alex was intrigued. Yes, we believe all life has consciousness, even plants. We communicate our intent, and usually, the plant will allow itself to be used, Alera explained, placing her hands around the stem and humming softly. After a moment, she turned back to the team. The plant agrees. You may take a sample, Liam. Liam did so with a newfound respect, carefully snipping a leaf and placing it in a preservation box. As they reached the heart of the crystal forest, the air was alive with an almost palpable energy. The crystals towered above them, casting prismatic light all around. Each crystal grows from the core of Surina. They channel the planet's energy, storing it and distributing it where needed, Alera said, her voice filled with pride. Mark approached one of the larger crystals, his hand hesitantly reaching out. And these can be used to power. What, exactly? Everything in our community, Alera responded. From our homes to our tools. The energy is clean and harmonizes with Surina's rhythms. Alex set up a portable energy meter, attaching sensors to the crystal with Alera's guidance. I'm getting readings off the charts here. This is incredible. As they worked, Mark considered the possibilities. Alera, would you people be open to a joint research project? We could learn a lot from each other, and perhaps develop technology that benefits both our worlds. Alera thought for a moment, then nodded. I will speak to the elders. I believe they will see the value in this. The day passed quickly, with the team collecting data and samples, their minds buzzing with the possibilities of this new, shared venture. As they headed back to camp, the setting sun painted the sky in hues of orange and purple, reflecting off the crystals and illuminating their path. Back at the camp, Mark convened a quick meeting. Let's compile our data and prepare a proposal for the elders. This could be the beginning of something groundbreaking. Liam, Alex, and Sarah nodded in agreement, each taking on tasks to prepare for the days ahead. The potential for a meaningful partnership with the Salari was clear, and everyone was eager to move forward. As night fell, the team sat around the campfire, their faces aglow with the firelight and the excitement of their discoveries. In the distance, the crystal forest shimmered under the starlight, a silent reminder of the beauty and mystery of Surina. The next morning, the camp was a hive of focused activity. Mark, Alex, and Liam were huddled over a makeshift workspace, strewn with papers and digital tablets, drafting the joint research proposal to present to the Salari elders. Sarah was setting up communication links to ensure they could send their findings back to Earth without delay. Okay, let's make sure we cover all the bases. We need to emphasize the mutual benefits, especially how this partnership could enhance understanding and technological advancements for both our species, Mark directed, tapping on his tablet to bring up a list of key points. Alex looked over Mark's shoulder, nodding. Right, and we should include a detailed plan on data sharing and security. They need to know we respect their sovereignty and the sensitive nature of the information. Liam, who was drafting the scientific goals of the project, chimed in, we also need to propose a framework for biotechnology exchange. Their methods of biointegration could revolutionize Earth's environmental tech. Alera entered the tent, her presence bringing a calm energy. How does the proposal progress? She inquired, looking at the scattered notes and glowing screens. Mark smiled, gesturing for her to join them. We're just finalizing the key objectives and how we plan to implement them. Your insights would be invaluable. Alera glanced at the screen and pointed to a section. This part where you talk about energy exchange, perhaps you could elaborate on the benefits for Surina. For instance, how Earth's solar and wind technologies might be adapted here. That's a good point, Alex acknowledged, quickly typing up the suggestions, showing that we're bringing something to the table besides just taking knowledge. Liam looked up from his notes. Alera, could you tell us more about the elders' expectations? We want to make sure this proposal respects your cultural and ethical standards. Alera nodded. Transparency is very important to us. You must be clear about what will be done with the knowledge shared. Also, involvement of our scientists at every stage would be necessary. Of course, Mark agreed, making notes. We'll set up an integrated team with equal representation from both sides. and we'll schedule regular reviews to ensure all parties are comfortable with the progress and direction of the research. Sarah, having finished setting up the comms equipment, joined the group. I've set up a secure channel for when you're ready to submit this to the elders. Also, I think it might help to include testimonials from our initial interactions to highlight the positive outcomes already achieved. Great idea, Sarah. It'll show the elders we're committed to maintaining the goodwill we've established, Mark said, appreciative of the suggestion. As the team worked into the afternoon, refining and adjusting the proposal, their collaborative spirit was evident. Each member brought their strengths to the table, ensuring the proposal was thorough and considerate. Finally, after several hours, Mark held up the completed document. I think we've got it. Shall we go over it once more before we send it off? The team gathered around, each taking turns to read through the proposal. After some final minor tweaks, Mark looked at Alera. Are you comfortable with this? Does it meet your expectations? Alera read through the document carefully, her expression thoughtful. After a moment, she looked up with a smile. Yes, I believe this will be well received. You have done an excellent job of respecting our perspectives and outlining a balanced partnership. Relieved and pleased, the team prepared to send the proposal. Alex handed the tablet to Mark, who initiated the transmission to the Salari elders. There it goes, Mark said as the confirmation of receipt pinged back. Now we wait. The team leaned back, a sense of accomplishment filling the tent. They had worked together seamlessly, bridging two vastly different cultures with diplomacy and mutual respect. Whatever the response, I'm proud of what we've done here today, Liam said, and the others nodded in agreement. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the camp, the team stepped outside, looking towards the crystal forest in the distance. The future was uncertain, but they had made every effort to ensure a positive outcome, hopeful for a new era of collaboration between Earth and Surina. The following day, Mark and his team received word from Alera that the Salari elders had reviewed their proposal and invited them to the village to discuss it further. Excitement and nervous anticipation filled the air as the group prepared themselves. Let's stick to the plan, Mark said, adjusting the strap of his pack. Keep the discussion focused on mutual benefits and emphasize transparency. Liam nodded, double-checking the presentation device they'd packed. Got it? I've got the visual aids loaded. Figured they'd help illustrate some of the concepts we're proposing. Good thinking, Alex added. If there's one thing I've learned about the Salari, it's that they appreciate clarity. The team set off with Alera leading the way. As they approached the Salari village, the shimmering structure seemed even more magnificent in the morning light. Upon arrival, they were greeted by Elder Reinen and several other leaders. Welcome back, friends, Elder Reinen said, his voice calm but commanding. We have reviewed your proposal and wish to discuss it further. Mark stepped forward, his tone respectful but confident. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. We're here to answer any questions you might have and to make adjustments to ensure this partnership is beneficial to both our peoples. The group was led to a circular chamber where Salari scholars and elders were seated. A holographic display illuminated the center of the room, where Mark and his team set up their presentation. Let's begin, Mark said, gesturing for Liam to start. Liam activated the presentation, showing a diagram of Earth's technological advancements. We'd like to start by demonstrating how some of our energy technologies work. This is an example of a solar array we use to harness energy from our star. One of the Salari scholars leaned forward, intrigued. Your world relies heavily on external energy sources. How will our energy crystals benefit from such systems? Mark stepped in. That's a great question. While our systems rely on external input, your crystals already possess extraordinary internal energy capabilities. By understanding their properties, we can potentially refine our methods and help you find new applications for them, particularly in your resource-scarce regions. The elders exchanged thoughtful glances, clearly considering his words. Alex followed with another point, addressing agriculture. We were also impressed by your agricultural techniques, particularly your water-efficient crops. These innovations could be transformative for arid regions on our planet. Elder Reinen raised a hand. Your proposal is ambitious. We appreciate your eagerness to learn and share, but how do you ensure this knowledge exchange remains equitable? Alera spoke before Mark could respond. The humans have shown great respect for our ways. They propose equal representation in all research efforts and regular reviews to ensure transparency. Mark nodded in agreement. Exactly. We're committed to full collaboration, and we'll provide detailed reports at every stage. The discussion continued for over an hour, with the elders probing deeply into the logistics and ethics of the partnership. Mark and his team answered each question with precision, their preparation paying off. Finally, Elder Reinen stood. Your proposal shows promise. We believe this partnership can lead to great discoveries for both our peoples. However, trust must grow over time. Let us begin with a smaller joint project and expand from there. Mark smiled, relieved. That sounds like a wise approach. We'll work together step by step. As they left the chamber, Alex clapped Mark on the shoulder. Well done, Mark. I think we just made history. Mark chuckled. We did it together, Alex. This is just the beginning. As the agreement for the joint project began to take shape, the team returned to their camp with renewed energy. The elders' cautious approval had marked a significant step forward, but now it was time to deliver on their promises. The chosen project focused on analyzing the Salari energy crystals and developing methods for their sustainable application. Mark and Alex gathered in the equipment tent, setting up the tools needed for their first field tests. Liam joined shortly after, carrying a container of samples they'd collected earlier. Okay, let's make sure everything is calibrated before we head back to the crystal forest, Mark said, scanning the inventory list on his tablet. Alex was already unpacking the energy spectrometer. I'll handle this piece. It's finicky, but it'll give us the readings we need. Liam held up a vial of crystal shards. I've been analyzing the smaller samples, and they have a unique molecular structure, something I've never seen before. It's almost as if they grow with a purpose. Mark looked intrigued. Purpose? You mean they're naturally optimized for energy storage? Exactly, Liam replied. If we can figure out how they form and replicate that process, it could be revolutionary. As they discussed the plan, Alera entered the tent, her calm demeanor a reassuring presence. Are you prepared for today's work? The elders are eager to see progress. We're ready, Mark assured her. We'll start with non-invasive testing and move to more detailed analysis once we confirm the initial results. Alera nodded. That is wise. The crystals are deeply connected to Serina's ecosystem. Caution will ensure no harm is done. An hour later, the team arrived at the crystal forest, their equipment in tow. The towering crystals shimmered in the sunlight, their soft hum almost melodic. Alex set up the spectrometer while Mark prepared the scanning device. Liam, pass me one of the calibration tools, Alex called out, carefully aligning the machine. Liam handed over the tool, watching as the spectrometer came to life. This thing's sensitive. Even a minor miscalibration could throw off the results. Don't worry, I've got it, Alex said with a grin. I've done this 100 times. Mark activated the scanner, its display lighting up with data. The energy readings are even stronger than we expected. This output could power an entire city for days. Alera observed closely, her curiosity evident. Your devices are impressive. Do they draw energy from similar sources on Earth? Not quite, Mark replied. Our technologies rely on finite resources, fossil fuels, solar panels, wind turbines. Nothing as advanced as this. As the group worked, Alex noticed something unusual on the spectrometer. Hey, Mark, take a look at this. The energy density increases when the crystal is exposed to sound vibrations. Mark examined the data, his interest piqued. That could explain why they hum. Maybe their resonance amplifies their energy storage. Liam nodded. It's like they're alive in a way, responding to external stimuli. Alera smiled. You are beginning to understand the crystals. They're not mere objects. They interact with their environment. The group spent hours collecting data, their collaboration seamless. Each discovery brought new questions, but it also deepened their understanding of Serina's unique energy system. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Mark packed up the final piece of equipment. That's enough for today. Let's head back and compile the data. We're onto something big here. Alex stretched, his excitement still palpable. If this works, it's going to change everything. Liam clapped Mark on the back. You're not wrong. We've got a lot of work ahead, but this is the kind of project that makes it all worthwhile. Alera led them back to the village, her steps light but purposeful. The elders will be pleased with your progress. Perhaps they will grant you access to deeper knowledge. Mark smiled at her. One step at a time, Alera. Trust is built piece by piece, and we're here to earn it. As they reached their camp, the team was tired but exhilarated. The work was just beginning, but for the first time it felt like they were truly working as one. Humans and Salari, shaping a future they could share. The morning dawned clear and crisp, the skies above Serena painted in soft hues of lavender and gold. At the camp, the team was already busy analyzing the data collected from the crystal forest the previous day. Mark, Alex, and Liam were crowded around the central table, each engrossed in their tasks. Look at this, Alex said, pointing to a graph on his tablet. The energy potential of these crystals isn't just sustainable, it's scalable. If we can replicate their structure, the applications are endless. Mark leaned over, studying the data. Agreed, but we need to proceed carefully. If we push too fast, we risk disrupting the balance the Salari have maintained for generations. Liam set down a microscope slide he'd been examining. I've been running tests on the molecular composition. It's like nothing we've encountered before. Complex yet elegantly simple. This material practically grows itself. Mark nodded. We'll need to present these findings to the elders, along with a plan to ensure their resources are protected. Alera entered the workspace, her gaze shifting between the three men. Your progress is remarkable. The elders have requested that you present your findings to the full council today. We'll be ready, Mark assured her, organizing his notes. But this is more than just a presentation. It's about proving that we understand the responsibility that comes with this knowledge. Later that afternoon, the team returned to the Salari village, their equipment neatly packed for the presentation. The council chamber was filled with elders and scholars, their expressions a mix of curiosity and caution. Elder Reinen addressed the group. We are eager to hear what you have learned. Speak, and show us your understanding. Mark stepped forward, his voice steady. Thank you, elders. Over the past days, we've worked to understand your energy crystals. Not just their potential, but their connection to Serena itself. He gestured to Liam, who activated a holographic display. A three-dimensional model of the crystal structure appeared, spinning slowly. These crystals are unique, Liam began. They grow naturally, with an internal structure that allows them to store and release energy. What's even more remarkable is how they respond to their environment, amplifying energy when exposed to certain stimuli. Alex added, this discovery has implications not just for energy storage, but for environmental harmony. If we can understand this process fully, it could guide us towards creating technology that works with nature rather than against it. Elder Reinen raised a hand. And what do you propose to do with this knowledge? Mark answered carefully. Our priority is preserving the integrity of your resources. We propose a joint research initiative where all findings are shared equally, and no actions are taken without the council's approval. The chamber was silent for a moment before another elder spoke. You speak with caution, but how do we know your kind will honor this agreement? Alera stepped forward, her voice firm. I have seen their work, their care, and understanding without harm. They have earned my trust, and I believe they will honor yours. The elders conferred quietly before Elder Reinen stood again. We will grant you permission to continue your research. But know this. Our trust must be upheld through your actions, not just your words. Mark bowed his head. We understand, and we are committed to working alongside you. As the team left the chamber, the gravity of their responsibility weighed heavily on them. But so did the excitement of what lay ahead. That went better than I expected, Alex said, exhaling deeply. Liam grinned. And now the real work begins? Mark looked at Alera, gratitude in his expression. Thank you for speaking on our behalf. We couldn't have done this without you. Alera smiled. You have earned your place here. Now let us see where this shared journey takes us. As they returned to camp, the team felt a renewed sense of purpose. Together with the Salari, they had taken the first steps toward a future shaped by understanding and collaboration.